Nobody's going to tell you if you're creepy. There's not going to be a tribunal or an official notification. There's no neon sign that pops up above your head that says, warning, you're now a sexual biohazard. They're just going to feel it. And they feel it in that primal ancient animal wiring, right? The same part of the brain that flinches away from predators and like plague-ridden corpses. And immediately they're going to start calculating how to get the fuck away from you without being hurt. You think you're being friendly and flirtatious. They don't see that. They see a leaking, pus-filled emotional wound. You don't look like danger per se. I mean, that would at least command respect. You look like a dead body dragged halfway back to life by the greasy, jerking spasms of pure need. You go up and you say something like, oh, hey, I just had to tell you, you're beautiful. You're adorable. Maybe they hear those words, but what they feel is like this wet, sticky vibration that's pawing at the idea of them. Saying, please validate me. Please give me a reason not to hate myself. Just give me something, anything, so I can stop feeling like a rotting fail bag of broken dreams. But you're not there to share a moment with them. You're there to siphon, to grope, to harvest. And you don't even know you're doing it. You think, oh, I'm just a little nervous. They, on the other hand, smell rotting desperation on you like a drunk uncle at the family reunion that's leering too long at the babysitter. They don't recoil from you because you're awkward, okay? They're recoiling from you because to their body, you feel like an impending violation. You're a hollow-eyed hunger pretending to be nice. So creepy is not being bad at talking to girls. Creepy is what happens when you forget other people are real, okay? When you stop seeing them as souls and start seeing meat socks to jerk your loneliness into. You weren't born like this. You were born whole. You didn't need a trick or a mask or a game plan to exist. You were just there. When you're born, you're transmitting pure signal. Then you learn to be afraid, right? You learn that being yourself was dangerous. You learn that approval was conditional. You learn to build a mask made of nervous tics and fake fucking smiles. And yes, you learn to survive. But in the process, you forgot how to live. Now, every time you approach somebody, there's a split, okay? Your words are saying, hey, what's up? How's it going? But your body is screaming, please like me. Please don't hurt me. Please give me permission to exist. But unfortunately, humans do not process the words first. Humans feel the vibe, okay? So before they hear your voice, before they see your face, even their nervous system is scanning the environment. It's scanning you to see if you're congruent. That's the real war, okay? Signal versus survival. Presence versus persona. Presence versus performance. And right now, whether you know it or not, whether you want to or not, you're losing. And if you're listening to this, you're watching this right now, and you feel even a tiny part of that sickness inside of you, you already know what this is because you're living it every day. Invisible tension, silent rejection, dead conversations, lost opportunities, being lonely and fucking broke and shrinking more every day, watching other people pass you up, pass you by, not just socially, but financially, fucking spiritually. And you don't even understand why this is happening. But it ain't got to be like this. You can burn this shit down. You can burn that mask. And you don't just change your dating life when you do that. You change everything. You move through the room differently. You make people feel you. You attract loyalty. You attract money, respect, because people feel something in you that they can't quite put their finger on. And that starts right now. Click the link in the description. This is not more advice, okay? This is your doorway out of the fail dimension. Click the link. Let's fix this. Let's fix it now before it eats your life. Now, you think that, again, creepy is like being bad at conversation. That's kind of like the conventional wisdom. You think it's about saying something weird or, too weird, standing too close, saying something that's kind of offensive. In other words, you think it's about screwing up. You think it's about fucking up. It's not. Creepy is not a mistake. It's what happens when the front of you, the outside of you is saying, hi, nice to meet you. But inside, you're silently yelling, please like me. Please fill this hole inside of me. And they can feel that, not because they're consciously analyzing you, but because people are wired to detect when another mammal is leaking neediness. So let's talk about the 3-part death spiral of creepiness here. It starts with zero ability to take other people's perspective, zero empathetic accuracy. When you approach somebody, and this happens all the time, I see this all the time. If your mind is so full of your own need, you're so in your own head, wondering, am I doing okay? Do they like me? When that's happening, there's simply no bandwidth left in your mind for you to notice their experience or what they feel. So you're not seeing them. What you're seeing is a projection of your desperation onto them. Like you're not in a shared moment with another person. You're like grasping at a fucking hologram. All right, so that's number one. Number two, there's a transmission of emotional hunger. And this is when your body is leaking starvation into the field. All right, when your body isn't offering energy, it's not trying to collaborate with people. It's trying to leech energy and take it. It's when the invisible broadcast of your nervous system is saying, feed me or I'm going to disintegrate into fucking nothing. Please like me. Please like me. So that's number two. Number three is when you have simply no emotional offering whatsoever. Like you're not giving them anything. You have there's no mystery, no playfulness, no light. There's just like this pressure and gravity. Like if it doesn't work, I fucked up. It's a bummer, man. It's like there's just this like dragging, sucking weight of an emotional black hole. And when you go up like that, you can't create fun for other people. You can't create joy in other people. All you're doing is consuming. That's what people are feeling. Not shyness, not awkwardness. They feel like a starving phantom, like a lich that's trying to harvest their life force without permission. So yeah, creepy isn't like saying the wrong thing. It's being this weird, leaky ghost and not even knowing you're dead. You can say all the right shit. You can memorize every technique. You can approach at the right angle. None of that shit's going to save you because your body's already betraying you. Your face is telling them the truth. They don't hear a fucking pickup line. What they hear is your muscles tensing up around your fear. They hear the way that your smile dies halfway across your face. They hear the dull, armored stare behind your eyes. It's all a signal that's telling them, I am not safe. I am not whole. I need something from you. This is what we call facial armoring. And it's what happens when you chokes down your real emotions for so long that your face forgets how to move, essentially. It's what happens when you try to perform connection without actually feeling anything real. Dead eyes, tight mouth, locked neck and shoulders. And again, this isn't just like bad body language. These are warning signs, okay? Signs of infection. Signs you're locked in survival mode and you see every human encounter as a threat. Okay? And they're going to feel that. But there's a sickness even deeper than this leaking hunger, even deeper than the facial armoring, the dead signal. It's the collapse of empathy. And I said this a moment ago. It's a forgetting that the other person is real. When you approach somebody from a place of desperation, you're not meeting them, okay? You're not even curious about who the fuck they are. You're using them. You're using their existence to try to fill this black hole in your gut. You don't see a soul. You see like a vending machine for validation. That's what we call me-it communication. You collapse the person into an object that exists only to serve your little survival script. And again, they can feel that immediately. They can feel when they've stopped being a human to you and have become this like agentic means to an end. And their body reacts the way that any living creature reacts when it senses it's being preyed upon. Fear, disgust, run away. Again, it's not what you say. It's not your appearance. It's that invisible message that's coming off of you. You are not real to me. You're a fucking tool. You're a meat sock for me to jerk off into. And this is not something you fix by being smoother or again, memorizing more flirtatious lines. You fix this by burning out that disease. You fix this by remembering they're real and you forgot. Now, maybe you already figured out a lot of this stuff we've been talking about here. Maybe I understand desperation is repulsive. So what you do, you try to hide it. You try to self-amuse. You try to be like the wild, edgy guy and shock them into paying attention. Saying the most random, fucked up shit you can think of. Like, the Holocaust, abortion, But you didn't say it because you were actually amused. You said it because you're still starving, right? You're not self-amusing when you do that. You're button mashing, hammering these random levers, praying that one of them is going to spit out a scrap of attention. Real self-amusement radiates life. It's grounded. It's playful. It's abundant. Fake self-amusement is twitchy and grabby. When you do shit like that, you're not actually amusing yourself. You're like button pushing to get a reaction by saying fucked up shit. You're not being cool. You're an unstable cringe clown. They don't feel charmed. They feel like secondhand embarrassment for you. You're not being edgy. You're not being funny. You're being a weird dick. When you do that, you're like a fun vampire. Except instead of sucking blood, you just suck.
Oh.
Now, maybe you think that escalation is about making a bold move. You think if you just man up and go for it faster, you'll see confident. You're screening, right? Wrong. Because when you escalate before the field is ready, when you flirt, you touch, you close distance, you push sexual energy before there's any actual attraction, it's not confident. It just feels like danger. It feels like getting cornered. Real escalation isn't forced. It's like dancing with the music, not like drunkenly slamming into people at a concert. When you're calibrated, you don't just go for it. You let the interaction breathe first. You build trust. You hit the social hook point. You start vibing with them. At that point, you can start peppering in flirtatious comments. A mild one, then like a medium one, then maybe a little spicier one, a little more explicit. And what this does is you're letting her acclimate to the idea that this isn't platonic, okay? Oh, this is a romantic encounter, right? She gets to acclimate to that idea incrementally. It's called being smooth. And then, only if she leans in at that point, she's into it, only then do you start moving things forward physically. Maybe you touch her hand. You interlace her fingers with hers. Definitely don't put your hand on her lower back like a creepy boomer at Applebee's begging for more fucking, can I get some more iced tea over here, sweetie? Every fucking guy, every creep out there I see is putting that hand on the lower back. No, you don't do any of that shit. You let the moment invite you. Maybe you start slow dancing with her. You close proximity. You let that personal space dissolve naturally. You're laughing. Maybe you kiss on the neck. You kiss on the mouth. It's all happening very smoothly. Real escalation, like powerful escalation, it feels like you're drifting into a dream that they want to be in, right? You're pulling them in breath by breath, touch by touch, without force. There's no fear to it, right? There's no pressure. False escalation feels like they're waking up pinned under like a sleep paralysis demon. Frozen, helpless, praying it ends, praying the nightmare ends. If you escalate because the vibe is pulling you forward, it's real. If you escalate because you think you're supposed to be a man, to be cool, you're already leaking desperation. Now, another thing that I see guys do, which is kind of like more low key, is essentially like a low grade catcalling. Like I call it drive-by compliments. This lazy performative flirting. Basically, like these guys who like spray this fake swag out into the air like cheap cologne. Let's take a hyperbolic version of this. What's the cartoon version of catcalling? A dude hanging out the window yelling, "Hey, baby, what that mouth do? What that mouth do?" That guy that yells, "What that mouth do?" He knows goddamn well that's just not going to work. He knows if she actually came over and was like, "Oh, hey, what that mouth do? Permit me to show you." If she actually did that, that guy wouldn't even know what the fuck to do. He'd be like, "Oh, door, 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 door." It'd be like a dog that catches the car and gets dragged down the street. Because he doesn't expect it to work. It's not real courage. It's like a preemptive snub. It's a way to make the rejection on his own terms. So he can walk away being like, yeah, whatever, she couldn't handle this. Right? Instead of having to actually face the terror of real human connection. And yes, maybe you're not doing that. Maybe you're not hanging out a car window yelling lewd shit. Maybe you're just joking around with the bartender. Flirting with the waitress, lobbing some kind of half-ass comment at the cashier at Walgreens. But just like the catcalling dude, damn well that shit's not going to work. You got this captive audience there, And you know she's rolling her eyes inside as you say this stupid shit. But what does it do? It lets you tell yourself, well, I shot my shot. It lets you pretend you did something. It lets you feel like a man without risking anything real. Because if you actually meant it, if you actually put your real self on the line, well, you'd have to feel what it's like to be truly accepted or rejected. And that's the one thing you can't handle. Much safer to get rejected for being a fucking dick clown than to risk being rejected when you're actually being you. In fact, you're not even being rejected. You're rejecting yourself over and over and over and over again, just so you never have to face what it would mean to actually be seen by people. You keep trying to fix the mask. You think if you just say it better, the perfect opener, whatever, maybe they won't feel it anymore. Maybe you can cover the leak with like a new coat of paint, but you can't because the mask isn't broken. The mask is the infection. The more you polish it and rehearse all this shit, the deeper you bury yourself inside of it. And you don't look better. You look like a dude doing karaoke at a Chili's, sweating through living on a prayer for a bunch of people who already left. It doesn't matter how sharp your lines are or any of this shit. If your nervous system is still split, you're still leaking that static into the room. Again, in a world full of fake bullshit and dead signals, people are starving for something real. They don't need another high-value man or like Chode and Alpha cosplay. They need to feel somebody who's real in their fucking bones. Game is over. Technique is over. The only thing that matters now is signal clarity, congruence, presence, a nervous system that says, I'm real. I'm whole. I'm not here to take from you. I'm here to give and collaborate. You don't fix it. You don't hack it. You don't keep layering new tricks over these old cracks in the fucking facade. You burn the goddamn mask. You burn the lie and you start again from nothing. There's no ultimate pickup line. There's only the slow, brutal work of remembering how to be real. And the 4 first steps towards that wholeness are, step 1, you got to own the fear, right? Don't fight it. Don't hide from it. Stand with it. Hold it inside your breath like a burning fucking ember. Feel it completely. Own it. Own it until it can't own you anymore. Step 2, reclaim the body. First your breath, then your posture. Move slowly, move deliberately. Walk with purpose. Walk like you know what it feels like to move without needing anything from people. Step 3, increase your perspective-taking ability. Get out of your own head. Feel outward. When you're out, make it a point to feel their faces, to feel the breath inside of you, to feel the shifting tension in the room. Make their reality real to you again. Step 4, emotional offering. Bring the party. Stop asking, what do I say? What do I do? Start offering. Start offering what? Play, mystery, mischief, fun. Become a source, right? Become a star, not a fucking suck. Radiate into the room. And again, this isn't a trick or like a performance. This is just you, raw, undeniable. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real. And this is where it starts. Not with a better mask, with a bigger fire. Again, they didn't reject you because you're awkward or ugly or shy. They just rejected the lie. It wasn't your words that made them flinch. It was the total absence of anything real. You didn't lose because you weren't good enough. You lost because you were never even fucking there. And that's why you can stop running. You don't have to get better. You just got to get real. Most people are going to stay dead, sleepwalking. Most guys are going to keep leaking this desperation in every single fucking interaction they have and spend their lives clawing for scraps of attention, never even realizing they're the ones who fucking suck, but not you. Not if you hear this. Because right now, right here, there's a doorway out of the failed dimension, out of the hunger, out of the lie, into the real, into the signal. Step into it. Burn the lie, become the glitch, or stay a ghost. Click the link in the description. Make the decision most people never will. This is Jeffy, and I'll see you on the other side.
The live program is really good for taking action and solidifying certain lessons into yourself. Like it's in your nervous system. It's impossible not to learn something. You're going to walk away from this program. There's going to be something a lot different about you. I watched, these guys on YouTube for years, and I sat around with great intentions. I had good intentions all day, and it did nothing. I stayed the same. When I went and started taking good actions, not only did I have external results that started to change, my perception of myself started to shift. Nothing's going to shift with good intentions. It's only going to shift with good actions. Thank you, Jeffy. I'm excited for the future, and, I'm excited to just keep trying to grow on this journey. Thank you so much.